So here are a couple of cool surfaces that we can draw identification diagrams for. The first one is the torus, the hollow donut. You know what that looks like. And so what we do is we draw our strip of paper and we indicate that this edge should be glued to that edge, and I have the arrows showing how that gets done. But then what we're going to do is we're going to glue that edge to that edge. There's two separate steps to this process. Now I want you to imagine gluing these edges together first. That's going to be like drawing the paper around and making a tube out of it, okay? And then what happens is these little arrows become arrows down here, and so these circles are going to get glued together in a nice way. And so imagine that this tube of paper, we're going to bend the edges around and make a donut out of it. And so this is me bending those edges around. That top seam with the two arrows is reflected right here, okay? And these two circles are going to get attached to one another, and that shape is going to be the hollow donut shape. And so we can turn a rubbery strip of paper into a torus. But let's play with something a little more exotic. Let's say I start with my rubbery sheet of paper, and let's say that we make a tube. But then what we're going to do is we're going to take this left edge over here, I drew an arrow on it already, and I'm going to turn the other arrow around. Is this going to make a shape that makes sense? Now for starters, you can make a tube out of it, no problem, right? Because these two edges can get glued together in the standard way. But then what's going to happen is these two circles are going to have arrows that are still pointing in opposite directions, and when I try to glue these circles together, the arrows are going in opposite directions. I can't just attach them and make a torus out of them. How am I supposed to get those edges together? And so there's a different way of viewing this that helps us get those edges attached. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our tube and we're going to stand it up on its side. And then I'm going to kind of take that top part and I'm going to like gooseneck it around this way. Okay, now notice that if these arrows, if the arrows were pointing like in a clockwise direction, then when I flop this guy over, now it's going to kind of look like they're going counterclockwise. Okay, those arrows kind of like turn around. And notice how the arrow here is kind of going in a clockwise direction. So now I'm kind of excited because it kind of looks like these guys are going the same way. And what's going to happen is I'm actually going to take that circle and I am going to draw it inside. I am going to pass the shape through itself, which is kind of trippy. I totally get it. But I am going to do a couple of other things for artistic reasons. We're going to like blow this up and make it nice and wide. And so then this circle, which has the counterclockwise arrow going around it, and this circle, which has the counterclockwise arrow going around it, they're going to get attached to one another. And so that shape is going to make what's called a Klein bottle.